If you've been following the news or watching YouTube videos, you've probably noticed the phenomenon of so many people leaving California. And as a third generation Californian myself, I was really intrigued by this, and I had thoughts of moving myself from California as well. So if that's you and you've been thinking about leaving California, you might be wondering, are you in the same boat as all these other people? And where are they moving to? Well, one of the top states is the state of Idaho. And so I decided to take a closer look at Idaho to decide if I should move my family to Idaho. So when I first decided to start looking at moving my family here to Idaho, I have to admit I spent hours online looking at Zillow and YouTube videos, just pouring through the homes that were available, the different communities, probably like what you're doing exactly right now. And I was completely blown away by what I could find here in Idaho that was just so much more affordable than anything you're gonna get in California. For example, this home here in the Treasure Valley at $750,000, if you were to find the same home in California, you're probably gonna be spending more like $1.5 to $2 million on up. But here in Idaho, depending on the community you end up in, for between $500,000 to $1 million, you're gonna be able to find a house like this anywhere. And for $650,000, which is kind of the going rate for homes like this, that's just way better than what you're ever gonna find in California. Idaho has been one of the fastest growing states in this nation by percentage, and you can see why. Now, Texas is actually taking on the most people. It's taken on about 300,000 people just this past year alone. Now, I went and checked out Texas myself because I thought maybe that would be the right state for me. And I've got a lot of friends that have moved there. But for us, it just wasn't the right place because it just kind of felt like a concrete jungle to me. I really like being outdoors, getting to nature a lot faster. And you just don't have that in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area that we were looking in. Whereas here, in just a few minutes, you can be at the Boise River, you can be playing in it, kayaking, floating on it, or 45 minutes to an hour away, you can be in beautiful mountains that look like the Sierra Nevadas in California. You'll hear this a lot, don't California my Idaho, and so there's a lot of concern about people moving from California that are gonna turn Idaho basically into the woke state that California is. And while there certainly can be some elements of that, I'll admit it's just not quite the same as what you're starting to see in other places like Texas and Tennessee, where they are actually becoming more purple and more woke. Here, there's actually a lot of pushback that occurs against these woke policies. For example, there was a trans child drag show that was planned as part of the Pride show in Boise, and there was a lot of pushback, and there was so much pushback against it that it actually got canceled. In fact, in the last election cycle, the state actually moved about 5 to 6% more red than in the prior election cycle. Obviously, weather is the #1 reason why people stay in California. Great access to the beach, and just the most incredible weather that you're gonna find virtually anywhere in the world, and certainly within America. Very low humidity and nice, warm, temperate weather all around year. Well, it's certainly not quite like that here in Idaho. You're going to find 4 seasons, most certainly. The winters can get really cold and the summers can get really hot. Now, they're not gonna be as hot as a place like Texas, and probably not as cold as a place like Tennessee. And the weather is a lot drier here as well. So the cold is more of a dry cold versus a wet cold that I'm used to in, say, places like San Diego, or what you're gonna find in a place like Tennessee. Now, for me, the weather was a big factor to get over. Of course, my family is still in San Diego, but the weather was a big factor holding me there because I just knew that I couldn't find a place like that anywhere else in the States. So once I got over that, then it made it a lot more easier for me to actually go ahead and make the move. So what I actually did was I actually visited Idaho in the wintertime in December to see if I liked it or not. Now, I understand that visiting for a short period of time versus living in it for a long period of time are two completely different things. Anyone can withstand anything for a short period of time, but actually living in it is a different thing altogether. So, but that being said, it still helped me see whether or not I would like it. It's not as pretty here in the winter time. All the trees are dormant, so all the leaves are off, so they kind of look dead, of course, unless they're evergreen. So it's just not as pretty. There's grayer skies. That being said, there's still 300 days of sunshine that you're gonna find here in the Treasure Valley. Now, I actually ended up loving it when we visited in December. And so we decided, you know, if we like it in the wintertime, we're probably gonna love it come spring and summer. And sure enough, it's absolutely the case. And the fall is just absolutely beautiful with the changing leaves. So at some point, you just have to weigh all the factors that are drawing you out of California to a place like Idaho and decide if weather is really that big of a factor or if it's time to let that go. Now, who's moving to Idaho from California? Well, from what I found, it's mostly young families like what I just described, or it's people that are nearing retirement or have just retired. So it's kind of a mix of the two. And the communities they're moving into is really all over the Treasure Valley, just depending on what suits your exact lifestyle. Now, coming here to Idaho, I've just been blown away by how clean it is, especially the downtown area of Boise. Now, oftentimes downtowns are the dirtiest part of any city. Coming from San Diego and also having spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, also a little bit in San Francisco, it's just a really dirty place, right? Now, San Diego is probably the cleaner of those for sure, but there's still homeless encampments all over the place. Drug use is rampant now. But you come to Idaho and it's just not the case. Are there homeless people? Yes. And they're actively being taken care of because they really do need help, of course. No one is saying that homeless people don't need help. We're not trying to escape homeless people. What it is that we're sick and fed up of the policies and just millions and millions of dollars of wasted money going to pointless programs that aren't actually helping the homeless. And we're tired of having to live around people that do need help, but they are really causing a lot of problems for the city. It's not safe for our kids or for ourselves. And the cities around Boise are also incredibly clean. All the suburbs like Meridian, Eagle, Nampa, Caldwell, Kuna, Star, Middleton, they're all going to be incredibly safe and clean cities. Now, something else that's really interesting is how large the parking lots here. A lot of people have half-ton pickup trucks, so the parking lots and parking spaces just need to be a little bit bigger. I actually noticed the same thing when I went to Texas, so that's really nice because I actually have a half-ton truck, so it's really nice to be able to park that no problem. Even the Trader Joe's in Meridian has a large parking lot. As you know, most Trader Joe's don't have large parking lots, but the Boise Trader Joe's, they're sticking with the theme and they've got a small parking lot. Something I get asked a lot about is how rude are people to Californians? Are they really that upset that Californians are moving here? Now, there certainly is going to be an element of that no matter what. You're going to get people that are rude, but to be honest, I really haven't experienced it, and people have been super friendly to me because the fact of the matter is, most of the folks that move here are from California or from another state. There are a lot of native Idahoans, of course, but they have always been so incredibly friendly to me, and I've never had any issue at all. Now, most of the people that I work with when moving here to Idaho are from California, although I did just help a woman move here from Florida, although she was from Nevada for a long time, but her daughter lives in San Francisco and she just couldn't bear to move to San Francisco. So coming to Boise, Idaho, she's only a 1-hour plane flight away from her daughter, so she's being near her granddaughter. Now, for most people that are moving here, a big part of it is going to be certainly politics, and it's going to be affordability. And a lot of it really does come down to affordability. I mean, the types of homes that you can get here are just absolutely huge compared to what you can get in California, and for half to a third of the price. So as you can see in these homes here, just wide open vaulted ceilings, big floor plans, decent sized lots. This is why people are moving here, to get that larger home, that lower cost of living, and to be able to enjoy their lives. Obviously, another reason why people are moving here too is high taxes in California and trying to get away from them. Now, we are not a no income tax state, unfortunately, but our tax rates are lower for income tax, sitting right around 6% for your income tax. So about half of what you're gonna be paying in California. So if you're watching this video, you obviously know that I made the decision to move here because I work with people relocating here now, and I am so glad that I made that decision. It's just such a better pace of life, a better place to raise my kids. I decided to move while my oldest was only 5 years old because it was that much easier to move here when she didn't have a huge friend group. If she was 10, 12 years old, it would have been so much more difficult to move. So that's why I decided to make the move when she was a little bit younger, to just make that transition easier. Well, if you are looking to move here, I am a real estate agent and I would love the opportunity to work with you. All you got to do is reach out via phone, text, or email. My contact information is on the screen here and it's listed down below in the contact information. I would love to talk with you. Either myself or my team will meet with you and we'll figure out the best area for you to live based on affordability and your lifestyle, whether you want to be near the river in Boise or Eagle, or near all great schools, or near the village and a lot of shopping in Meridian, or maybe you want to be out more in the country in, say, like Middleton or Caldwell, Nampa, or Kuna, or maybe even Star. Then we'll just figure that out and we'll figure out the best time frame for you to come out here. And so all you got to do is reach out. Looking forward to talking to you soon. And if you want to know more about Treasure Valley and all the best areas to live, just watch this video right here. It covers it all. We'll see you on that video.